YouTube! Oh my god, I'm sorry. I was supposed to record on Monday for the Sunday shows of Walking Dead and Once Upon a Time, but Mama ended up being home, and I don't know if you guys will understand this, but it is kind of awkward, considering this is like my first, I wouldn't say year, I haven't even been doing this for a year, but my first few months recording for YouTube, for anything anyway, and kind of awkward when your mother is watching you, so I couldn't do it. So I was like, maybe I'll just, record on Thursday while I'm with my boyfriend and, record today. And hopefully I'll get everything out of the way, The Walking Dead, Once Upon a Time, Flash, Arrow, and hopefully Supergirl. But then I couldn't do it on Thursday, unfortunately, so here's today, and I'm trying to jam-pack 5 shows worth of videos. 1 episode for The Walking Dead. So far with Supergirl, there's 3 episodes. 2 of the 3 I missed. So, wait, no, 2 of the 3 I watched. I missed episode 2. Once Upon a Time, I missed episodes 2, 3, and 4. And I also missed the recent one too. But I caught up, luckily. Flash, I pretty much caught up. I'm only missing 1 episode, which is the Fury of Firestorm. Yeah, that's the only one I didn't watch. And Arrow, I have a lot of catching up to do. So let's start with The Walking Dead. Hey! So this one, I believe, is, what episode is this? I don't even know what episode this is. Episode 5. There you go. Alright. Season 6, episode 5, titled Now. Again, because my memory sucks, I have them all in front, right behind my camera to look at, just in case. But anyway, the show pretty much starting off with, the Alexandrians cleaning up all the mess from the wolf attack. I don't blame them for being traumatized. I mean, come on, they pretty much were babied at Alexandria, if you think about it. The Alexandrians are pretty much babied. They were safe behind their walls. They never had to deal with walkers. Because, the walkers were all in the, what was it, that ravine? Was it a ravine? All those walkers were pretty much trapped, so they never came across many walkers. And then, they never came across any dangerous people. You know what I mean? Give me a sec, guys. So my bad, I am so happy that this little tablet I have that I'm recording on, it has a pause button. I love it. But, hang on. What the hell? Okay, there you go. But anyway, carrying on from what I was talking about, if you're in Alexandria, you're an Alexandrian, you are so babied. There weren't many walkers to deal with, and up until Rick's group came there and the wolves attacked, they never dealt with bad people. So I'm not surprised a lot of them are traumatized. I would be too, if I was that sheltered like they were. But let's get to the point where all of a sudden Rick comes out of nowhere, running toward the gate, screaming, "Open the gates!" And he's just barely in front of a horde of walkers. Those walkers, the ones that broke away from the main herd. First off, from the last episode, from what I remember, well, not the Morgan one, but the one before that, the Painful Glen one. First off, last time we saw Rick, he was in the RV. The RV broke down and wouldn't start anymore. And the part of the horde that broke away ended up surrounding the RV while it's broken down with Rick in it. So, can I ask, how in the living hell did not only did Rick manage to escape the RV that was surrounded by the mini herd, how did he escape that and run all the way to Alexandria with that mini herd? For real? I know Rick is a badass in his own right, but that RV was somewhat surrounded by a mini herd of walkers. How did he escape that RV and run past, just barely escaping that mini herd? I don't understand how he did it. I was hoping maybe they give somewhat of a flashback on how Rick escaped the RV, but, well, okay, whatever. But anyway, when he gets inside and all that stuff, he tells them about, pretty much telling all the townspeople, his family included, that, you know, there's a mini herd now here. And the plan worked. Majority of the walkers, the herd, are following Abraham, Daryl, and Sasha. But this mini herd that broke away, they're still there now outside the walls of Alexandria. So it's like, he's pretty much tell them what to do because they never experienced this before, which is true. Alexandria never dealt with a shitload of walkers, maybe like 2 or 3 a day at most, right? You could put in the comment section if you want. I don't know how many walkers they've ever dealt with, but they never dealt with a mini herd that's literally surrounding all their walls. Like, they're basically surrounded by a mini herd. They can't escape, right? So, like, pretty much Rick being Rick, you know, this is what you do and all that stuff. So I don't blame Rick for telling them what to do, considering the Alexandrians are totally clueless. But, hang on. What else? And they're all basically waiting for everybody else, you know. They're waiting for Abraham, Sasha, and Daryl. And unfortunately for them, they don't know what happened to Nicholas, Glenn. They don't know what happened to Nicholas and Glenn. Michonne pretty much informs the rest of the family, like Maggie and all them, like, that Glenn and Nicholas went to set a fire to distract the walkers, right? And, none of them know what happened to Glenn. The only people that know what happened to Glenn are us viewers, so that sucks for the rest of us. But basically, I don't even know what to say, honestly, because I'm still about Glenn. No one knows what happened to Glenn. You know, like, nobody... No Alexandrian, no one in Rick's family knows what happened to Glenn. The only person that was with Glenn is Nicholas, and he obviously shot himself in the head. So no one knows, and it's just... They're all basically waiting for them to come home. And everyone in Alexandria, they're just... I don't know what to say, you know, despite the fact that Aaron... He's like, come on, let's do this, we're gonna be fine and everything. Despite all that, the arrival of all the walkers, it just shatters everyone's spirits, and I don't really blame them on that matter, because, again, sheltered. But anyway, Deanna's son, Spencer, was it Spencer? You could comment in the section below. I'm bad at these Alexandrian names. The only one I know is Aaron, mainly because I like Aaron. And his lover Eric. But anyway, Spencer, I believe his name is Spencer. I don't blame the Alexandrians. First off, they were raiding the pantry, trying to get as many food as possible because they're freaking out. They think it's the end of the world because all these walkers are surrounding all their walls and they think they're just gonna die the next day. So basically, the Alexandrians start freaking out and they're like grabbing as many food as possible. And, you know, Spencer, I give him props, you know, for, like, stopping the raid, saying, you know, you gotta ration the food, you gotta pull it together and all that stuff. So I give Spencer props on that. I never liked him in the beginning, but him stopping the little pantry raid gave me a little respect for him. You could chastise me for that all you want, I'm just saying. I got a little respect for him for that. But my respect for him kind of depleted after you find out that he pretty much steals liquor and other food from the pantry afterwards and end up in a very horrible argument with his mother and said some horrible things to Deanna, which I thought were unnecessary. I mean, Spencer, I know you're drunk and you're falling into somewhat despair because of the little horde of walkers, but damn, you don't say that to your mother. Come on now. I mean, I bite my head about with my mom right now, and it's not even an apocalypse, and my mom and I still bite each other's heads off, but even I wouldn't say that. Hell, I won't even do that if I was drunk. And I'm actually self-aware when I'm drunk, so I won't even go that far. So my respect for him after the raid and him doing that, stealing afterwards, you know, he stops the raid only to raid the place himself and then get stupid drunk and say horrible things to his mother. So I lose my respect for Spencer again. And, part of that argument, he's blaming his mother for the death of both the father and his brother, and it's like, dude, that was not his fault. Your brother died. I don't remember really if it was an accident, but I know, like, explosion happened, and the explosion sent Spencer's brother flying. So technically, his brother's death was not his fault. I mean, sure, Deanna kept them mostly sheltered, and they didn't know much about the outside world outside their little gates. But that explosion that sent Spencer's brother flying in the air, that kind of wasn't his fault. The explosion happened, sent him flying. Who knew that the explosion would send him flying that far? He ended up being impaled, okay? So no one saw that coming. That was not Deanna's fault. And their father dying, that was technically not his fault, not Deanna's fault either, because Jesse's husband was straight up cuckoo, and Jesse's husband, Porch Dick killed the dad, okay? That was not Deanna's fault. I understand Spencer saying, you kept us sheltered, and we didn't know much about the outside world. Okay, I get that. But what happened to the father was Porch Dick's fault, and what happened to the brother was an explosion. So you can't really blame him on that. That's why I'm kind of mad at him for that. And I just realized I spent a whole couple of minutes ranting about Spencer for like 11 minutes. I still have a hell to go. But anyway, next 3.5 minutes, gotta make it work. But anyway, next up we actually see the most dorkiest little fight I've ever seen in my life with Carl and Jesse's son, Ron, because, Carl's all asking Ron, have you seen Enid? She disappeared during the wolf attack and all that stuff, right? It's like, help me find her, you know what I mean? And, Ron's like, acting like a little wuss, like, no, I'm not gonna help you find him. Give up on finding Enid. And then, Carl's like, you know what, fine, I'll go find her myself. And, when Carl's leaving, friggin' the most corniest fights of all Walking Dead history, Carl versus Ron, which I looked like a shove/slap fight. It looked like the boy version of a girl slap fight. It's just so funny. They were just shoving each other, and I couldn't help but laugh so hard during that whole scuffle, because it's like, my god. It was like the funniest thing ever. You can comment in the section below, because to me, I thought it was funny. It was like a little girl fight. When you see little girls do like that? That's what it looked like. But instead of this, they're shoving each other, which I thought was like funny as hell. You could comment and agree with me or disagree with me, but that was funny. I'm not gonna lie. And I just realized I reached my 13-minute mark, and I'll continue the rest of this episode, talking about this episode in the next video, just part 2. And after that, I will hopefully get Once Upon a Time's videos. And then, that's the main one I wanted to get to, which is Walking Dead and Once Upon a Time. And hopefully, I will try to get Flash and Arrow. Supergirl is not as, I wouldn't say is not as important, but, so far only 3 episodes of Supergirl were played, and I watched episodes 1 and 3, so technically it's not that bad, but Flash and Arrow, I missed at least 6, 7 episodes, I don't know. 5 to 7 episodes between the both shows, and I only watched, I'm missing 1 episode on Flash, so that was not that bad, but I'm missing a good chunk of Arrow, so I want to finish this episode of Walking Dead, which is probably going to be, part 2, which is going to be the next video for this episode, and then I'll probably get maybe 2 videos for the episode Nimue for Once Upon a Time, and afterwards I'll try to get Flash and Arrows, well, at least their recent episodes, and then I'll catch up and get the previous ones. So I'll see you guys in the next video for the finishing conclusion of my thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 6 now, and hopefully Nimue, and the recent episodes of Arrow, Flash, and hopefully the first 3 episodes of Supergirl. So, wish me luck, guys! Bye, Belltube!